The Federal Equal Pay Act was signed into law by President John F. Kennedy in 1963. The promise of economic equality for women has gone unmet for 62 years, and it seems further from reach than ever in these dark times as federal actions threaten the rights of workers and families across the country. For decades, New York State has led with concrete actions to close the gender wage gap and the opportunity gap with stronger state and local laws and worker protections. Yet clearly, even in a progressive state like ours, federal actions threaten to send us reeling back to the worst days in our country when women and people of color were second-class citizens and exploited economically. Today, women in New York earn only 87 cents on every dollar that a man makes. This unacceptable wage gap is even wider for Black, Latina, and Native American women in New York, who earn 66, 60, and 55 cents respectively for every dollar a white non-Hispanic male makes. Even though economic aspirations of equal pay have not been met, rolling back protections that have long been established in law is just not a threat to our wallets, but also to women's place in the fight for democracy. A democratic fight that needs every citizen to stand up and speak out against the abuses being perpetrated by the few. Now, more than ever, we must all join the movement to uphold women's economic equity. This Equal Pay Day, we call on our state leaders, employers, and all New Yorkers to stand up to reaffirm New York's commitment to equality. To our state and elected leaders, we expect you to continue to fight for workers as the federal government retreats. On Equal Pay Day, commit to pass and enforce laws that hold businesses accountable to equal pay requirements by increasing pay transparency laws. We need employers to step up efforts for equity in pay and continue to offer equal opportunity to women and marginalized groups. Reject the false narrative that waste and fraud chokes our economy. And to every New Yorker, know your rights. Push your employers and your government officials to enforce workplace equity and advocate for solutions to the persisting gender and racial pay gap. Fight back against the federal rollbacks on worker rights, anti-discrimination efforts in the workplace, and fight for economic equity for women and people of color.